It's a beautiful watch. It is classic, but also a little bit funky.
Then they try so many other things, and you can find some fun watches.
There's probably even a limited edition to celebrate, another limited edition.
Hi, this is Mark with Crown & Caliber, and this is not Hidden Gems. Today we're doing part one of everyone's favorite, the 3-watch collection. I recently sat down with HODINKEE's deputy editor, Nora Taylor, and editor Cole Pennington, who came and visited us here at the Atlanta office. We're going to explore the HODINKEE Capsule Collection through the archetypal, everyday, evening, and weekend watches, and what that means to Nora and Cole. Today we have the Everyday Watch, and if you want to check out more of the HODINKEE Capsule Collection, go to crownandcaliber.com, follow the link below. So let's get into it. So we're here today with Nora and Cole from HODINKEE, and we're here to talk about our Everyday Watch. An Everyday Watch is usually considered not too gaudy, not too much. It's usually something that you wear day in, day out. It goes with most things. It's what we all usually think of as our one watch we start with. What's it to you, Nora?
Well, I don't know if it necessarily has to not be that gaudy. But an everyday watch is something that's really easy to wear. It does go with pretty much everything you can throw on. You can take it somewhere and not feel like you're gonna draw too much attention to your wrist.
And Cole?
A watch that I don't have to think too much about. It's just a kind of a cool watch that I'm proud and happy to wear. That's interesting enough to look down at and marvel at occasionally, but just take some abuse and you just throw it on every day. Hence, Everyday Watch.
Good reasoning. So with that in mind, Nora, what's your pick for an everyday watch?
I picked this Cartier Panther. It's a beautiful watch. It's just stunning. And I wear a lot of rings, and the two-tone actually makes it a lot like I don't have to choose if I'm wearing silver or gold for the day. It's my everyday watch that I wear in real life is pretty small, and I like the size of it. I like that it is, just a beautiful bracelet. You can tell the time really easily. It is classic, but also a little bit funky, so I feel like I could wear it with my fancy work from home sweats, and then
That we've all gotten used to now.
Yeah, and then I actually have to go to the office and be around people outfit.
I'm a big fan of that watch because it's a mix between the Tank and Santos. It's not too square, it's not too elongated, and Cartier is the masters of design. Nobody creates all these different designs that last 100 years. And even with the newer watches, they've come out with the Cartier Drive that is this not quite round, not quite cushion case. I think Cartier belongs in almost any collection.
Yes.
And that is one of those classic ones. I think they do two-tone great. And I think this is a quartz version, right? So quartz may get a lot of hate. And there's a price point where quartz may deserve it. But when we're talking about an everyday watch or something as simple as this, I think quartz is just fine. Because the amount of times I pick up a watch and then have to set it.
Exactly.
Some days I want to be able to put it down on a Thursday or Friday, pick it up on a Monday, and not even have to think about it. I'm a big fan of have a basic quartz watch in the collection, or a luxury quartz watch in the collection. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone makes them, from Patek, the Cartier, to Breitling. Everyone makes a quartz and does a great job at it. I think Cartier has been doing them in-house for decades, so it's not even outsourced somebody else. They're making it themselves. And that's something I have a little respect for.
Yeah.
That's a nice little detail.
And I think we were talking about how everyday watches, you don't want to think about them too much, and it's just so nice to be like, boop, out the door.
I think it's great. And for Cole?
I went with something, it seems like an oddball pick, but I think it makes a great everyday watch. It's a Omega Dynamic 3. So a weird watch that, it's not really collectible yet. It's a deep cut watch.
Those are a steal for what they are.
They are definitely a steal. They retailed new for about 1,500 Swiss francs. They've grown a little bit since then, but I think a few things. The way Breguet numerals are done on a sports watch is interesting. You don't normally see that.
Don't see it.
Running seconds at 3, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and just kind of an interesting, it's a nice case size. It's in line with modern downsized cases. what I think is cool about this is it totally failed when it came out. It was a complete failure. And now, I think, as we head into an era where things from the 90s are becoming cool again, this watch will have another moment, right? Maybe it will be successful years and years later, and people will come to appreciate it in a way that they didn't when it first came out. Yeah, just a great, like, put it this way, you can get a Speedy, right? Like everyone else.
Everyone, yeah.
Or you can go with something like this.
It's how often do you come across something that's a little different in the Omega lineup is actually quite often. Because the one thing Omega does is just scattershot and hope. They have their core line, you have your Seamasters, your Speedmasters, but then they try so many other things, and you can find some fun watches.
There's some, and there's probably even a limited edition to celebrate another limited edition.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
Quite well sometimes.
But the fun thing is that when they do take risks and fail, like those watches get forgotten until a few years later, when it drags, you know, what becomes cool 20 years behind, you know.
Speaking of that, that watch actually is built on the style of an old watch.
Royal Air Force.
Yeah, the Dirty Dozen.
Yep.
So I love that connection to it.
Yeah.
It's that classic Dirty Dozen, which is my favorite Omega older watch that they do. It has that same, I think, the sword hands, it has the numerals that come from it. The design is inspired by an iconic Omega watch that gets lost to history a little bit.
Which you would only know that if you read the Omega marketing materials. Like if you looked at this watch, you wouldn't think, oh, this is inspired by the Dirty Dozen. You wouldn't think that.
A little bit.
You wouldn't look at this watch and say, this looks like a watch from the 40s. You know,
Fair enough. It does not.
It
look
looks
like
squarely like a 90s watch when we were kind of experimenting in a way that wasn't pleasing to the eye then. You know, the 90s were an interesting time for watch
Not
design.
many 90s watches hold up.
Yeah, but
And the ones
they
that
will.
do tend to be the ones that kept the styling through most of what Rolex did.
Yeah.
But there are a few, and I have a 90s Omega that I love. There's a few thoroughputs that just kind of work. And that is probably my favorite one that I love to get again and again and again.
Yeah.
Because talk about a starter watch that is for a decent price, that has great styling, and it's a chronograph, which for the price point makes it even better.
And it's a deep cut watch. It's an unusual reference. So that's why and for our purposes, it's a great everyday watch. I mean, it's just a good watch to wear every day. So I'm gonna walk away with this and wear it every day from now on.
And I said at the beginning that maybe a everyday watch shouldn't be too much. It should be a little more relaxed and easy. And then I went for a Vacheron Constantin 56 complete calendar as an everyday watch.
All right.
And the argument here is, one, it's in steel. I think when you start talking about solid gold or solid precious metal of any sort as an everyday watch, it gets banged up. An everyday watch will get hit around. You don't want something so soft. So it's in steel. But the second rule I have that I think most people don't go by is your everyday watch should be your most expensive watch.
Really? Let's hear more.
And most people, it's their dress watch. It's their special, watch that they wear once in a while. And I don't think we should be precious about it. We should look at a watch and go, I want it. I want to wear it. I want it to be part of me and part of what I wear. So I think your everyday watch should be your watch. It should be the watch that you know you want to wear every day. You spent so much money and time and effort on it. It should be the thing you enjoy, not the thing you enjoy every so often. Not the thing you enjoy that when I get dressed up. Not the thing you enjoy just occasionally. It should be the thing you enjoy every day.
Interesting.
So, one, I love the brand Vacheron Constantin. They put out some amazing watches, and they don't feel as stuck in a rut as some of the other high-end brands. They're not always looking to the past entirely. They're not always looking at one kind of model. What I also like about just this Vacheron is there's design details that you don't get, that most people overlook. Something like the lugs is an afterthought on so many brands, and the lugs are just these beautiful churned in. The case isn't purely round. It has a little edging here, which is supposed to be the Vacheron Maltese cross look to it. that's their marketing materials, but I just like the fact that that's a little architectural
touch.
feature. There's other things about it. The original complete calendar has the same font to it. So it has the open 6 and the open numerals and 6 and 9 to it. There's callbacks to the original, but bringing the modern to it. And as somebody who appreciates watches for their history, along with the engineering and the art of it, I appreciate that. I love all the details of that. And on top of that, the blue and the steel case make it a strap monster. I wouldn't leave it on leather. I would easily throw that on a NATO. I don't care about it being precious. I want it to be fun. I have no problem throwing that thing on a flamingo NATO. Like, let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Flamingo NATO.
I own a flamingo NATO. I have no problem putting on every watch I own.
I think that's great.
It's like, have fun with it. Watches, again, shouldn't be precious. They should be something you enjoy. And if any time you have a watch that just sits in the safe you never wear, why? I understand the investment aspect of it, but you should enjoy it. If you're spending that much thought on it and that much time, enjoy it. I personally have no problem wearing any watch that I'm willing to spend that kind of money on. I should want to wear it every day.
And put it on a flamingo NATO.
And put it on a flamingo NATO, absolutely. Should have some fun with that.
Hell yeah.
I actually recently got to have a sneak peek of the new Vacheron flagship that's in New York, and it's so beautiful.
I am very jealous.
Yeah, there's some very cool art happening. You can get it. There's actually like a strap bar where you can go and have your own like handmade, customized strap situation. And then they're bringing in a watchmaker from Switzerland.
Wow.
And I think they have the piece unique 1921
Sure do.
on that too, which is I'm jealous of because it's a right-handing watch, unlike the normal that's a left-handed. Because that's the other thing I like. My wife wears it on the right hand, so it's one of those I wish you could get it normally for that hand.
Yeah.
It's interesting for the daily picks how we pick 3 very different watches. A two-tone quartz, a holdover of the 90s that is one of the few gems of the 90s, to be honest.
Hidden gems.
And one that most people wouldn't think of as an everyday watch. And it's part of the fun of that. When someone says, it's the watch I want to wear every day, where you come to it, it's very different for everyone. And I always find that incredibly interesting what people think of when you give them a category of watch. It's fun. I actually had to stop myself from picking a Cartier because I've picked one in the past. So I'm glad somebody brought one to it. That was a great choice.
Thank you.
The Omegas, I always have an Omega.
Well, I apologize for picking this because now you can't do a hidden gems video on it. And it is a hidden gem.
It really is.
So I apologize.
I still might do a video.
All right, fine.
Again, thank you. And in the comment section, tell us what you think about our picks and let us know what your picks are for an everyday watch. Join us on the next video where we talk about our next pick in the HODINKEE Capsule Collection.